Kevin.
Thanks, Josh. Given the president's mantra for no drama and don't do stupid stuff, I just have to wonder where he is on this email.
Thank you for editing yourself.
Well, there you go. Because
this
it
is a
goes
family
on.
program here, Kevin.
Absolutely right. It goes on and on and on. And I'm just wondering, given what you said earlier about wanting to scrupulously avoid any appearance of impropriety, do you believe, or would the president believe, now is the time for a special prosecutor in this circumstance?
Well, again, no, the president hasn't reached that conclusion at all. As I mentioned earlier, the investigation that was conducted by the Department of Justice and the FBI was a thorough one, and one that Director Comey, for better or worse, has thoroughly explained. And I don't think that after considering what Director Comey has put forward, that anybody would conclude that he somehow gave short shrift to answering the questions that were posed in the context of the investigation. Again, that's all based on his public statements. The White House, nor I, nor anybody here, has been briefed on those investigations. But based on his public statements, I think it's quite clear that a thorough investigation has been conducted. And that investigation was conducted free of any sort of political interference from the White House. There are another set of decisions that were made with regard to communicating information from that investigation to the public. And as I mentioned earlier, I'll neither criticize nor defend the decisions to make that information public or to communicate it to Congress.
You want to be careful not to criticize, but I'm curious, do you see it as partisan in any way?
No, as I mentioned earlier, the president's got confidence that Director Comey is...
That's how some people are shading it. There's early on, especially back in July, there were a number of maybe on the right who were suggesting that, you know what, he didn't listen to his staff, he should have proceeded with an indictment, and now here over the last 72 hours, many on the left are suggesting he did this right before the election, it was completely out of bounds. There is this narrative that some people feel like somehow the director, rightly or wrongly, has been partisan. Does the president acknowledge?
The president is completely confident that Director Comey has not taken any steps to try to intentionally influence the outcome of the election or to advantage one candidate or one political party.
Let me ask you about the emails, and I know you and I can't talk about some of the specifics, but I'm just curious about the Uma Abedin shared email account with Anthony Weiner, former congressman. Is there any reason that the White House has any concern that the president's emails may have ended up on that computer in any way?
I think that, as has been, if the Republic reports are true, nobody knows what's on that computer. And I'm not going to speculate about what may or may not be there.
Can you answer this question then? Is there a reason the president would use an alias or a pseudonym when emailing back and forth with members of Congress in particular, or even with the former Secretary of State? Is that true, and if so, why?
I don't know that the president emails with members of Congress. What I can tell you is that the president's email system has a lot of built-in security measures, including an alias. And as we've discussed in here before, it would be foolish to give the president the bobama@whitehouse.gov email address.
Okay, great. So it's not Barack.Obama. Gotcha. Not that I haven't tried that one. Let me lastly ask you about something that, again, I know your usual pivot is these are private emails that were obtained illegally or surreptitiously, but I do think it bears the question about the suggestion that Donna Brazile, the acting DNC leader, taking over for the now deposed Debbie Wasserman Schultz, may have been aiding the Clinton campaign with more questions leading up to town hall events and others sort of giving her an inside scoop. What do you say to those Bernie Sanders backers who feel like the fix was in from the very outset? And should Donna Brazile, in your opinion, if this turns out to be true, step down from her position at the DNC?
No, the president believes that she's done a fine job stepping in a very difficult situation to lead the Democratic Party. Look, those of us who've known Donna a long time know that she is a person of integrity and a person of high character. She's a true professional who is a tenacious and effective advocate for Democrats. And she uses that skill regularly on television. She has been using that skill regularly as a party official, and you know, I for one am pretty excited about the fact that we've got her on our team.
Last question. I just want to make sure I drill down on your answer. If it turns out that she did tip the scales or put her hand on the scale for Secretary Clinton and didn't handle it evenly as a member of the leadership in the DNC, that's okay with you?
Well, I don't think she was the leader of the on the DNC leadership at the time of the debates. I think during my understanding is, you should check with the DNC on this, but that during the primary she was not affiliated with the DNC. Okay, all right.